Well, hello, everybody. It's your boy, it's your man's back again, uh, John. So, today I felt like talking. Today I felt like discussing some things, giving you guys an update, a video update. Right now, I am standing outside during a rainstorm in Gaston County up here at the pavilion. Got the wall to my back to keep the fucking rain off. Um, and I thought I might just have a little sit down and a chat with you guys real quick. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. I basically am making plans to move to Raleigh. And if you don't know, I have been homeless for the better part, off and on, since the beginning of the pandemic a couple of years ago. That was when my life kind of fucking went sideways. Anyways, I'm making plans right now to go to Raleigh, and the reason for that is because I watched recently, about 2 weeks ago, a good friend of mine, an older gentleman named Ronald Lester Hill, get picked up off the concrete in front of the convention center down here in Gastonia. And I knew Ron for a very long time. He was one of the first people I kind of met on my homeless journey, an older gentleman who, was out here for whatever reason I didn't know. I didn't really pry into Ron's life. I didn't really look into Ron's life. I just kind of let him be. But he was always nice to me. He was always kind to me. And, you know, I was at the coffee shop that morning. I seen the paramedics and the EMTs out there. And I walked up there to see what was going on. And I seen that they had a body covered up. And I just knew then that it was Ron. And at first, I thought it may have been an overdose, but it was actually Ron. And that thought did hit my mind. And I guess it just hit me with a clarity and an understanding of not only life and what makes life precious, which is that life is precious because it ends. That's at least my belief. Life is precious because it ends. And really, at the end of the day, I watched too many old people die out here. One of them being a woman named Ruthie James, Miss James. Everybody knew her as. A very frail, tiny, 180-pound black woman. Um, and I always kind of, looked out for Ruthie. I always kind of tried to do my best for her. Whenever it was wintertime, I gave her a jacket. Made sure she had food, cigarettes when I could. I was working at the time and going through, homeless shelter living. And I saw her out there sleeping in this abandoned lot in front of it one day. And I seen how old she was and frail. And then I tried to talk to her and I realized that she was senile or crazy or whatever. And Ruthie was at times very, very suffering from dementia. She was very, very violent and stuff like that. And one day, one night actually, she came, and I remember this till the day I die. She came into the Salvation Army there to sit in the lobby. And the attendant at the time told her, this little frail, senile, older black woman, Ruthie, told Ruthie that she could not be in there and she would call the cops on her if she did not leave. It was about 32 degrees outside that night. And in an instant, I saw not only the hypocrisy, but the goddamn inhuman nature that the Salvation Army in Gastonia operated under. Now, bearing in mind, it's closed now. It's closed because they weren't making enough money off the homeless. That's what the goddamn problem was. Remember, Salvation Army is not a philanthropic organization. It's not a church. It's a goddamn corporation. Anyways, they kicked her out in the cold. Knowing Ruthie, I went inside, I grabbed a jacket, I came back out, and she was actually getting belligerent with them. And I put the jacket around her and I said, "Come on, Ruthie, let's go." And one of the things she said to me was, "I don't want to be raped anymore." And I'm sorry, I know I should have gave a warning before I said that word, but that is one of the many instances that has stuck with me. And just basically ingrained in my head of an experience I cannot fucking forget. Among all the things in my head that I've seen out here going through homelessness over the last several years, which the beginning of it, mind you, was a friend of mine that I considered a brother kicking me out of his home with no warning, no whatever, while I had a job, while I was working on rebuilding my life, decided to throw a goddamn tantrum like a little pussy bitch piece of shit and kicked me out of his house because he was a gun nut, Trump supporting fucking fake mystic. And, bearing in mind, I've been through hell and high water with this guy. And while he was slouching back in the day, sleeping on the goddamn floor and not doing a goddamn thing to help me or his mother, I had a job and an income, and I was given like $300 out of every one of my goddamn paychecks for him and his mother to put back because he wouldn't go get a job. Later on, he repaid the favor by kicking me out of his fucking house with no warning, and there was no fight between us or anything like that. He just wanted to flex his dick that was his goddamn house, and he kicked me out. And that was where my homeless journey began. But regardless, back to Ruthie. That night she said that to me, and that shit hit me like a bomb. And I never forgot her after that. I couldn't. It was like watching a murder or something a car accident happen and that you couldn't stop, where children die and stuff like that. It was just brutal to me. Ever since then, the madness just kind of piled up inside me. And for the longest time, I've had guilt. I've had, survivor's remorse. I had so many things attacking my mental state. And I refused to go to therapy here in North Carolina because the first thing they do, it seems like, is hand out pills instead of legitimate therapy here. There's so many goddamn people I know that have been misdiagnosed and given pills here instead of treatment, appropriate treatment. So I've always avoided that. And also, I wanted to try to conquer it myself. Because even if I can't conquer myself with no help, the way I see it is I'm dead in the water. I'm never going to survive. So I had to, for myself, wrestle these demons. And as a result, it's led me to make sporadic, erratic choices. And that was just things I've had to work through over the last goddamn couple of years of my life about my mentality, how I got here, my mother and father becoming disabled when I was younger, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Suicidal thoughts, et cetera. Anyways, back to Ron. Now we flash forward to now. I left Gastonia for about a year. I went to Shelby and I worked for a gentleman who gave me, I was paying my rent through the housing. Just so happens that when they came to inspect the property, come to find out that the trailer I was living in beside this woman was zoned improperly. So they deemed it uninhabitable. So I had to leave, basically, because my boss was giving me offers of, finding a place to rent and stuff like that, working it out through my paycheck and whatever. And to be honest with you, that the last couple of months at that job, we were missing a lot of work because of rain and stuff like this. Now, he would have worked with me. He would have done all this and done all that. He was a great man, a good man, somebody I respect and regard very highly. But in the same turn, it's like I didn't want him going through this kind of over his elbow to get to his asshole to keep me employed because I didn't know if I could meet the needs that he had as far as an employee goes, which is learning construction, electrical work, learning how to drive a trailer, etc. Anyways, so I thought, why not come back to Gastonia? It's the only place I have a network. And the only place I know that I can hit the ground kind of running and stuff like that. I come back to Gastonia, and one of the first people I see is Ron. And Ron was different. Ron, I could tell that year had taken a toll on him. Bearing in mind, he was a 73-year-old man out here. He had already suffered 2 strokes. He just had an operation for an embolism not too long ago. And basically he got a massive heart attack that dropped him dead right where he stood, right in front of the fucking, hall over there. So, with that being said, I seen his body covered up on the ground. I didn't know it was him yet. And Ron was incontinent. He, had to use diapers, adult diapers. After they got rid of the body, I went over there. I seen that they left some possessions behind to go check to see if there was anything I could identify as to who the fuck it was. And sure enough, it was his diapers and a letter addressed to him. I knew then it was Ron. Now, I didn't cry or get sad because I knew Ron was living on borrowed time, man. I'm surprised he made it as long as he fucking did. And Ron was a hoarder, man. He loved to hoard shit. He would push buggies around town and shit like that were like 400 or 500 pounds. Matter of fact, he had to go to the hospital for that embolism shit. And he left his buggy and his possessions behind because he couldn't take it with him. I tried to move the goddamn buggy, man, and I was like, Jesus, how is he pushing this around? But he was. Daily, every day, every morning, pushing that shit around. In freezing temperatures, all this shit. I say that to say, too, that Ron made his choice a long time ago, I think, to die out here. That's how he wanted to go. Whether he had the wherewithal or the mental capacity still to make those kind of decisions, I don't know. He was a very Christian-oriented man, so he thought God would take care of him, whatever the case may be, and apparently it did. He had people bless him and give him things out here and stuff like that, but yet still Ron did not find stable housing. When he had the embolism surgery, I begged someone I knew inside the network to help the homeless, especially the elderly and disabled, to get him to a place where he would be okay to live. They couldn't convince him. I say all that to say, once again, seeing this, dead on the ground, this person I knew, it just got everything back into perspective for me. It's what I needed to see right at the right time. And it has, basically put me driven to the rest of my life. There was this clarity that hit me, this mental and spiritual clarity that I haven't had in years. And it helped with my anxiety, my depression, everything. Instantly, it all came to a head. So I hope you guys, understand that whatever happens in the coming months, weeks, year, has been not just a journey recently, it's been a journey for 5, 6, 7 years of my goddamn life. And longer than that. And I think we're finally coming to a place where we can mobilize, move, and get things done. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys are doing well. And you guys take care, okay? I'll give more video updates and stuff in the future. And I'm also going on a personal physical journey, too, to, get my health going and stuff like that. I'm getting older. I'm 42 years old now. Right around the time is when genetic heart disease and all that shit's going to kick in. So I got to start, focusing on my health more. I say that while smoking, and this isn't weed, okay? So anyways, I will talk to you guys later. You have a good night. God bless you, or Buddha bless you, or whatever the fuck you believe in bless you. I hope the light always protects you and yours. And thank you so much for watching. And that's a little update. Take care. Bye.